Hi, this is Terry Bach, and welcome to the Rewrite Your Money Story series. I know that having the income you want often feels impossible, and you work really hard and you want to be paid well for that. And you might even have some income goals, but they're just not happening, and you're so tired of downsizing your life to fit your income. You're feeling frustrated and hopeless about ever having the life that you really want. So I have invited several really awesome experts who are going to be talking about shattering your income goals, how to get beyond what you thought possible. And each of them are going to be talking about it from their unique point of view. Today I've invited Rosemary Nany Knight. Rosemary was a pharmacist, feeling that her life force was being drained from her as she continued to do work that didn't suit her true design. We're going to talk about that later. After bankruptcy and depression, she decided to change course, and within 18 months, she had built up a business that more than replaced her income as a pharmacist. She now supports others in making their transition while home educating her 3 daughters and managing her information product, business, and properties. So welcome, Rosemary. Thanks for being here.
Oh. Hi, thanks for inviting me, Terry. Lovely to be here.
Yes. So again, I just love your hair and your outfit.
I love
that. Oh, so cool. That's so cool. So you talk a lot about prosperity. So what do you think are the 4 keys that lead to more prosperity in every area of life, not just money?
Yeah, in every area of life, for sure.
Right.
So I do, yes, all ex-pharmacist, as you said. And I did make that transition based on, I suppose I distilled out these 4 keys, which I now call the deliberate millionaire pathway. And I'll go into...
Excuse me, I'm going to have you say that again. Deliberate what?
Millionaire pathway.
Got it.
Okay.
Say that really fast, yeah.
Very quickly, so feel free to slow me down whenever you want to. But yeah. So the 4 keys that I generally tend to walk clients through, or even when you get through to the information products and all of that stuff, the first one to me, the very foundation of every single thing that I do and have ever done in some ways, really, even when I wasn't completely acknowledging it out loud in public, because yes, like the blue hair came out when I stopped being a pharmacist. Suddenly go blue, basically.
Right. Yes.
Look like anything that anybody needs me to look like. So, yes.
Right.
So
yeah,
that
freedom
is actually connection to the divine. Okay. Now, I used to almost hide that part of me. I'm almost certain that most of the people listening to this will be in some way spiritual. But there's some, especially if you've been professional at any point in your life, there might have been a point where you felt you had to almost like downplay the spiritual side of your life in order to fit into the world and be accepted by the world. But what I've found in making my transition and with clients making their transition is that it's absolutely critical. It's a foundation of everything. If you are going to prosper in every single area of your life, you need some kind of real connection with the divine, whatever you call that, what they call it, universe, God, whatever suits you.
Right.
But because that to me is our power source. Okay. We are more than just flesh and blood. And so when we try to live as just flesh and blood, we find that we hit limits. We get to a point where no matter how hard you work, you just can't seem to get past that. But if you are someone with a bigger vision, you want to go past whatever income goal you have for you or whatever, then you're going to need wisdom that goes beyond your past experience.
Right.
You're going to need those you need to tap into your intuition ultimately.
Right.
And that comes from that connection with the divine. And you can't, to me, okay, I'm not saying everybody needs to be as loud and proud as I am, but I am saying you need to acknowledge that, at least within yourself, that actually I need to start asking, what is the best thing I can do next from this connection and living from this connection as well. Developing a connection where you are able to hear your intuition whenever you need to. And because then one of the keys is actually that you're taking intuitive action But how can you take intuitive action if you can't hear? So,
right. Yes.
So it's like, so for me, at the very foundation of everything is going back to knowing, remembering who you really truly are. I believe that we're all divinity. Yes, we're in a human form, but there's more to us than just a human form. If we're going to make this human experience as amazing as we want it to be, we need to acknowledge that. We need to partner with that thing that goes beyond just our flesh and blood. So that's the first key when it comes to prosperity in all areas of your life. It is remembering that you are divinity in human form, remembering that you have connection to that something else out there.
Right.
Remembering
Exactly.
that you can, you can tap into that and work from that connection, as opposed to just live as just your human form. Okay. Because again, the wisdom we need to get the results we want is beyond our past experience. If you could have done it, you already would have done it.
Right.
But if we're looking back at our histories or somebody else's history telling us this is the way you're supposed to do it, blah, 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 obviously it's not working.
Right.
You're shattered through an income goal and you're not. That is because it's not working.
Right.
It's not from past experience. Okay. So connection with the divine is number one. The connection.
Okay.
So that's number one key. Number two key is your calling. Now, when I mention calling, sometimes most people are thinking in terms of just their work, but I really do believe, and I suppose it comes into the whole true design thing, that each of us has a life, a life that we're designed to live best, if that makes any sense, the best life for us.
Sure. Exactly. Our optimum life. Yes.
Our optimum life. Yes. Because I do believe I remember having this almost like a divine download, I would say, of a jigsaw puzzle. So there's different pieces that make up the complete picture.
Okay.
Now, what I find with, this is what I used to do as well, is that we all try to file down our rough edges and just try to be round little jigsaw pieces. Everybody wants to look the same so that you don't stand out too much, just enough to get ahead, but not too much so that people don't like it.
Right. Right. Yes.
And so you're trying to make yourself as normal, as samey as everybody else around you, so that you somewhat. But imagine a jigsaw puzzle with all the same shaped pieces. Nothing would fit together. You'd never get a complete picture. It would just, it's just rubbish. Ultimately. So I believe that each one of us has a shape, even with our weird rough edges and crazinesses and blah, 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 blahs and blue hair, if you mean, that it all fits in. It all fits in. And it's only as we live to that calling, to that purpose, to that true design, whatever you want to call it, that's when we find freedom and fulfillment and financial abundance, as well as we tap into unconditional love, because we start to accept ourselves as we actually are, as opposed to trying to be what we think the world demands of us. It isn't working anyway, so why keep trying? Ultimately,
because trying to fit in keeps you in that scarcity place too.
It does.
We know doesn't create more wealth.
It does. It absolutely does keep you in a scarcity place, because you're continually telling yourself you're not enough anyway. You're telling yourself there's something wrong with you, so you have to try and fit into whatever other people desire of you. Even if it's not a conscious thing, because, if I say to people, hey, you're people pleasing, they say, no, I'm not. I don't do such things. But then you ask the question, how many times do you consider in the day, how am I coming across when I do this? How do I come across to this person when I do that? What's that person thinking of me when I do this or do the other? And how can all of that is people pleasing, though we may not say, oh, I'm people pleasing.
Right. Well, there are different degrees of it too.
Different degrees of it. And a lot of people's lives are lived based on what are people expecting of me. But that may not be your true design. That may not be your calling. And if you're trying so hard to fit into that design for you, then it's not going to work. You're never going to feel fulfilled. And you're continually telling yourself you're not enough. You're continually telling yourself that who you want to be, who you are actually called to be, is not good enough. who you are is just not sufficient. So you have to be something or someone else.
Right.
How can that work? Really? How can that work? Logically, it just doesn't make any sense. And I know the world has told us that you kind of have to, I mean, we go through school, all of this, all of it to train us to be exactly the same in some ways.
Exactly, yeah.
Ultimately.
Yes.
But now we need to break free. If you're going to live a life that actually really counts for anything, to yourself first, and then to the rest of the world.
Okay.
It's going to be because it's you being you, completely you, owning all of that. And it's crazy that we have to almost retrain ourselves back into being ourselves.
Well, we have to find it first.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do, because we've mostly forgotten. We've learned how to live as somebody else.
Exactly.
For so long that when it comes to remember, what do I even want? I don't even remember anymore. I went through a phase like that myself, where you're thinking, I don't even know what I want anymore, because I've spent most of my life pushing that down and answering all of whoever, family, religion, school, boss, this person, what do they want from me?
Exactly. Okay. So what is the third area?
Okay, so the third area around
the
this
three
is
key, I guess.
The third key would be what do I call it? Clarity. Okay. So you've got your true design, you've got your connection with source. Now the thing that will then get in the way more than, well, as well as all the other things, if you don't do them, is the beliefs, the ideas that you carry inside of you, the unforgiveness you carry inside of you because you're so angry at this person for making you do this and blah, 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 blah. The anger you feel at yourself for always denying yourself and continually telling yourself there's something wrong with yourself, basically. All of that stuff. Right. It's sorting out. For some people, even I can say the word God, and for some people that is a horrible word. That brings back memories of people doing crazy things to them and blah, 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 blah. That needs to heal. That needs to be cleared, because that will get in the way of you prospering. That will get in the way of you increasing your income. No doubt about it. You have some kind of issue with your mother, or mother, when it comes to money, is a big issue, basically. Right. Yes. Absolutely. Exactly. If you have some problem with your father, whatever, all of this stuff that just sits under the surface, and we generally tend to push down and try to pretend it's not there and it doesn't matter. We're grown up now. We need to just forget about it. It's not forgotten. Right. So when you say clarity, it's not just getting clear on what that stuff is. It's actually clearing it out. Actually clearing it out so that you are clear. Right. So right. Getting clear on what the stuff is, but also then doing whatever you need to do to clear it. Doing whatever you need to do to bring yourself back into alignment, as in to bring yourself, because there's for most of us, there's a war going on inside of us between the things that we would like to create and the things that we think we have to settle for. So that's the stuff on this side is telling us this is all you can have. There's nothing you can do about it, blah, 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 blah. And then there's this big idea, this big dream, this big vision that you carry inside of you that you really, truly want to get to. But everything inside of you is also saying you can't. You need to clear all the I can'ts, so that all that's left is, of course I can. I am created in the image and likeness of the divine. I am powerful. I'm capable of my calling. My vision is my permission, and I am going forward. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do whatever. Now, it's not all going to happen all at once, okay? No. But the more we go on this, I call it, even business growth is a spiritual journey. So whatever, to me, everything is a spiritual growth journey, if you choose to get on it, basically. Sure. I suppose in some ways, it's a personal growth journey if you decide that the divine has nothing to do with it. It's a spiritual growth journey if you decide to add the divine into it. So, whichever way we're growing. Yes, and it's all connected. Exactly. So we're all growing and we have to expand, and which means that different things come up. We have to be willing to face those different things. Actually start to self-acceptance is such a big one as well, where you're accepting all the stuff that you see inside of you, instead of trying to fix everything, instead of trying to I don't know, be some kind of perfect whatever, especially you're a spiritual person. There can be this tendency to try and obey all the rules and try to get everything perfect, because then I'll finally be worthy. No, honey, you're worthy now. Exactly. So you need to get to that knowing that I am worthy now. it doesn't even matter what you've done wrong or did wrong or blah, blah, blah. You're worthy now. There's nothing
Exactly.
to earn.
Yeah. You don't have to prove yourself. Yeah.
Unconditional love for real, basically, which is actually the point where religious people chase me out of churches when I say no, unconditional love really means unconditional love.
Exactly. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. It's hard as an adult to have that too.
Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear that.
It's hard as an adult to feel that unconditional love with each other.
It is.
As
it
kids,
really
we often do receive unconditional love from our parents.
You do. Well, if you are blessed. But yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But as a parent myself, anyway, yes. No, I know I love my kids unconditionally. So yes, we do our best to show that. But I get it wrong.
Of course, everybody gets it wrong. Yeah.
Yes. But that is what I'm trying to make sure my children are grown up knowing, that they really do know that they are unconditionally loved. Whatever they do, they're loved. Not just from me, that they also can connect to the divine themselves and know that love, basically. But of course, I am the physical representative for now. For them anyway. But yes, so that's what clarity means to me.
Okay, all right.
Clarity, you're getting clear on all the beliefs and the ideas and the unforgiveness stuff, and all of that stuff needs to be cleaned and cleared so that you are a clear channel for prosperity, or as clear as you can be. Again, perfection is not what we're looking for here. It's just a willingness to see. And when you see, to do whatever you need to do in order to clear that so you can move on to the next level ultimately. So that's number 4. And then the final one is action. Action, but it's inspired or intuitive action where you're listening in to that connection with source. And you're, to me, I like to tell my clients to ask always, what is the best and most joyous thing that I can do next to bring my vision to life? And then you do whatever it is that comes up, that you have the courage to trust that you can hear back from the divine. You practice these things though, because sometimes people say, oh, but I don't even know where the divine is speaking to me. Well, that's because you haven't practiced. It's like building a relationship with someone. You build a relationship by taking the time to build the relationship.
And it takes some trust too. I remember kind of when I was developing my intuition, first you don't trust that that's the intuition. You kind of ignore it, but it is a muscle that needs to be built.
It is, absolutely. So so you do need to actually practice that, but then it's taking action anyway. Taking action, doing what you know to do in that moment anyway. The thing I know for me, the mistake I kept making in earlier days was that I would hear the intuitive nudge, do the thing, but then do 20 million other things. And then you find yourself working your ass off. When it doesn't have to be that complicated.
No, in fact, it can be very simple, actually.
It can.
If we get out of the way.
Yes, we get out of the way and we begin to trust that actually what I heard, that's enough. That's what I do. That's enough. I can trust that it will actually turn into whatever it needs to. There's a call for patience at times, but then at the same time, it's just this knowing that as I follow through on the guidance, I will be guided to total success, whatever that looks like for me. So whether it's through, so I know you're talking about shattering income
goals,
yes, basically. It's the same thing. It's like, what is it? Okay, for me, I know I have spent time sitting down with the divine, working out, is there something I need to look at in terms of my money? Is there some money story that I need to sort out? I am willing to see, show me, is there anything? Is there anything? But then we don't want to spend lots of time focusing on all that, because then the focus becomes not the shatter the goal, it becomes, oh, is there anything I need to fix?
And sometimes a nice combination of both.
Exactly. It's finding a nice balance. But most of the time it's taking action to move forward. But it's always I'm always listening. I'm always willing to see. And that to me is a big thing. It's that willingness to see. Because too many of us, and I know for a long time, I was not willing to see. I felt it was all very, very, very physical. I just need to work harder. If I work harder, everything will work. Until you get to the point where you realize I have been working harder. It's not working.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not getting richer. I'm just working harder and
exactly.
Yes. So I know.
No, that doesn't work. It's not.
So Rosemary, I know that you're a prosperity minister, and I'm curious what that is. And kind of what does
The
that?
only name I could give it, I don't even, because I don't want exactly. Because I started with the whole doing real estate property stuff. That's how that's the first business I built when I decided I didn't want to be a pharmacist any longer. So transitioned into that. So that replaced my income. Then people started asking because I won this Porsche Boxster, and then people for being businesswoman of the year, and people asked how, what am I doing, blah 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 blah. And so then I started helping them. I actually created programs around the strategy I was using, and also did one-on-one stuff as well as group things around that. That's actually how I got into the whole information product side of things.
Very cool.
And then, and so then I called myself a business coach.
Okay.
Then that just seems so limited. I didn't want to just talk about numbers and, oh, let's check this conversion ratios or something. I don't know. I was just like, no, yes, I can teach you that stuff, but I know that it's not just that stuff. It's not just about the tips, the tricks, and the strategies, as much as people like to think to themselves that, oh, if I just get the perfect strategy, then everything will work. It's not true.
Right.
It's not true. Some people can make some money, but they're not usually, something is not right. Something is generally not right. So for me, it became more of a holistic approach, let's look at your whole life, because if something is not working in your life, it's going to affect everything. Okay.
Exactly.
You might be healthy, but it doesn't mean that you're happy. It doesn't mean that your relationships are great. It just means that you have money. That's it, basically.
Exactly. Really and you're going to continue to be miserable with more money. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so there has to be, and for some, actually, particularly for whatever reason, spiritual people, it's not, usually money becomes the issue for a spiritual person. Ultimately, because for whatever reason, we don't allow ourselves to get wealthy until we're working on everything.
Yes. Well, a lot of spiritual people don't believe that it's spiritual to have money either.
That's also a problem. So
yes.
If you don't like something, it ain't coming to you. That's for sure. So
true. Very true. So go back to what is a prosperity minister?
So prosperity minister was the only word I could come up with to describe what I wanted to do. Because I moved from business coach to I never wanted to be a life coach because that felt And then it was business and life strategist. And then one day, I don't know, prosperity minister popped into my head, and I thought, you know what? That sounds good.
All right. Well, that's
prosper in all areas of your life. Prosper in all areas of your life. Basically.
That's your connection to the divine. It downloaded.
Yes. A minister of the divine guidance to you or something.
Right. Very cool.
Something along those lines. But yes, that's how I came up with it. It wasn't some in-depth whatever it was. That's the only word I know that feels good to me. When I describe myself as that feels, that is what I do. That is who I am. Basically, I minister prosperity to you, equip you with the tools to prosper.
Nice.
Areas of life.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Very cool. So I know you've mentioned true design a few times, and it was in your bio. So what is it exactly?
It is just that. It is your jigsaw puzzle piece, as I was explaining before. It is you living every area of your life as feels good to you, truly. That feels right. That feels, this is the life that I am supposed to be living, as opposed to the life that the world has told me this is what success is supposed to look like. This is who I am here to be. I don't believe there's a mistake about anybody on this planet. I do believe the answer to every human concern or problem or whatever right now is to be found within some human being somewhere, if that human being would be living to their true design, which I suppose is part of my mission, is to reach as many people as possible to get them to go back to who they are, come back home to you. Ultimately is when I talk about true design, this is who you really truly are. I do believe there's no mistake about anyone here. There's a reason you're here, and sometimes we're chasing somebody else's agenda for us, and it's time to just return to your own, to put your own agenda first, to make yourself a priority in your own life, rather than trying to satisfy everyone. It does, living to your true design will mean that at some point you might lose some relationships, but you will gain. You might lose a job, but you'll gain something better. You might realize the business you're building, like I did, that the property business wasn't where I was supposed to be putting all of my energy. So then I transitioned out of that as well. And so, so things do change, things do shift, things do expand, but it's the fulfillment I feel doing what I do. I wouldn't swap for anything. That's the thing.
And how do you think that true design and everything you've just talked about, how does that connect with income? Because that's
how
people
can you create lots of income?
Yeah.
How can you create lots of income doing the wrong thing? How can you live the wrong life and expect to somehow come up with right results? It's not going to work. If you want income an abundance that feels good to you, you have to do it whilst living to your true design. Whatever the world might tell you. I know lots of people sometimes say, oh, you can't make money doing what you love. And that's a lie. You can. You just have to choose to.
Right.
Basically, and refuse to settle for anything else.
It comes down to that clarity you were talking about too, and this alignment. When you're in alignment with who you are and what your purpose is. I kind of hate to use that term because it's used a lot, but then that's where we're in the right place to be able to earn more.
Yes.
Too, because we've cleared a lot of that other stuff.
Exactly. You have cleared a lot of that other stuff and it feels good to you, because the other thing I know for me definitely is no matter how much, if I'm earning lots of money, and I have done that and I continue to do that, but when I was like as a pharmacist, I was earning, by most people's standards, a lot of money, not as much as a millionaire yet. So at that point, I was earning a lot of money, but at some point I break it. When I went into property, I was earning lots of money. I will, at some point, I will sabotage anything where I have to be anything other than me. And I believe that for a lot of, particularly for people who consider themselves in any way spiritual, that at some point you will not feel great earning money doing something other than what you would really want to do. So one, if you allowed yourself to earn money in the first place, because a lot of spiritual people don't even allow themselves to earn money at all. But for those that do, if you're doing it whilst doing something that you don't actually feel good in doing, not because it's a bad thing, but just because it's not your true design, then at some point you will break it. That's generally what happens.
Yeah, you're going to sabotage somehow.
Somehow it's like, oh, it was all so well, and then broke. Basically, and then it's like, yeah, well, maybe because you didn't actually really want to be doing that. Maybe it's time, maybe you were not listening to the intuitive nudges saying, this isn't really where I want to be. This isn't really what I want to do. So if we would all just listen before it breaks apart, life would be simpler, actually.
Yes.
But sometimes we need a bit of a crisis to find it like, oh, yeah, I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, we could get to that more income quickly instead of
going all of this and going around and around and about and everywhere. But yes, because I did a program recently called Easy Success. And I know success is easy. The problem is that we as human beings don't believe that it is, and we make it as complicated as possible. We hold on tightly to things that we don't even want. It's like, why are you holding on to that crazy relationship that makes you feel so bad? Yeah. Why are you holding on to that job that you hate, but you do? And then you make it really complicated. You tell yourself you have no choice. I have to do this. No, you don't. Right. If you would just hold things lightly, which again, that connection with source would support you in doing that, because you would trust that everything is always working out for your good. I don't need to hold on to anything I don't want. I can choose what I want.
But there's a lot of fear about change for people. So
yes, there is. And that's what makes success become a heck of a lot more complicated than the ease with which we could live. Because I do believe that we're here to live prosperously. All of us. I don't care where you're born or anything. I come from a third world country, and I believe even because I know sometimes people think, oh, but what of those people that, honey, everybody was created in the image and likeness of the divine. There's no exceptions to this rule. Anybody can prosper. I don't care. Yes, right now they may be deceived into thinking that they can't, which is why more of us need to wake up and start telling people, honey, come on. You're a heck of a lot more powerful than you give yourself credit for. Wake up. Basically. And I can say that because I come from a third world country. I've seen poverty beyond poverty millionaire, so I can say that.
Right, exactly. Well, this was fascinating, Rosemary. Thank you. And I know that you have a free gift for our audience.
Oh, yes.
Could you tell us about that?
Okay, so it is called The Deliberate Millionaire's Freedom Book. Okay, it was one of the first books I wrote. And it's all about freedom, living free, wealthy, and on purpose. Stop living just for the weekend and start doing what you want when you want. Deliberately, yes, because we're all about living life deliberately, basically. But it's freedom. It's about breaking free from some of the things that keep us bound up in lives that we do not enjoy. Okay, whether it's relationships, whether it's all the stuff that I've talked about, plus more.
Right.
So different chapters I cover. It tells a bit of my story, or a lot more of my story, plus the different areas that we need to reconsider and consider, is there a freer way that we could be living in these areas of our lives? Okay. And so that's what the Freedom Book is about. Ultimately, it's just breaking free, helping, because sometimes we don't even, until someone points out to you that there's an issue, you don't see it because you
exactly. Yes.
Just the normal way. No, you read through the book, you start to think, oh, I can do something differently, because it's like I had coach that kept telling me, because there were some things in my life that I thought, but I have to do that. I have to. That's the way I was brought up. I have to. And it's like, no, you don't. You do get a choice.
Exactly.
Like, oh,
exactly. Yes. Yes. That's what you teach. That's what you teach.
So yeah, so there's been a very long journey to get to here. But so the book covers quite a lot of different things around freeing yourself from from the wrong life for you, ultimately.
Right.
So yeah,
wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. And for the audience, all you need to do is click on the button below this video and it'll take you right to Rosemary's free gift. Rosemary, thank you so much. This was fun.
Thank you. It's been fun too. Yes.
Yes. So, and a big thank you also to our listeners for listening to the Rewrite Your Money Story series. And tune in again for our next expert who will be sharing their perspective on shattering your income dreams. Okay. I will see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.